Flight 19 was supposed to be a simple bombing practice run. 5 TBM Avengers, 14 Navy airmen, clear weather conditions over the Bahamas. Radio contact was lost at 4:25 p.m. Search operations found nothing. But when underwater drones descended to coordinates that had been searched dozens of times before, they captured footage that made investigators leave the control room. The aircraft were intact, positioned as if still flying in formation 240 feet underwater. Inside the cockpits, something waited that challenged everything we understand about physics. The sonar readings showed 5 distinct aircraft signatures in perfect V formation. The ROV cameras revealed cockpit instruments still illuminated after 79 years, navigation equipment functioning in ways that should be impossible. For 8 decades, the Navy insisted Flight 19 crashed due to pilot error. The underwater footage says otherwise. Flight 19 wasn't just another training mission. These were TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, the backbone of Navy carrier operations. Each aircraft weighed 10,000 pounds fully loaded, capable of carrying a 2,000-pound torpedo or equivalent bomb load. The 5-plane formation represented $2 million in military hardware and months of pilot training. Lieutenant Charles Taylor was 28, the flight leader with over 2,500 flight hours. He had survived combat in the Pacific, flying missions against Japanese positions. His students were younger, but experienced. Marine Captain Edward Powers, 26. Navy Lieutenant Forrest Gerber, 24. These weren't rookie pilots. They were instructors training the next generation of naval aviators. On December 5, 1945, Flight 19 departed Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale at 2:10 p.m. Mission designation: Navigation Problem Number 1. The route was standard. Fly east 56 miles to Hens and Chickens Shoals. Conduct practice bombing runs. Fly north 67 miles to Grand Bahama Island, then southwest back to base. Total flight time, 2 hours. Weather conditions: clear skies, 10-mile visibility, light winds. At 3:45 p.m., Flight 19 completed bombing practice at Hens and Chickens Shoals. All aircraft reported normal operations. At 4:25 p.m., Lieutenant Taylor radioed the tower. "Cannot see land. We seem to be off course." At 4:45 p.m., "Both my compasses are out. I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale." At 6:04 p.m., the final transmission: "All planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall." Weather conditions remain clear throughout the flight. Fuel capacity: 4 hours maximum flight time. Radio equipment: functioning normally. Transmissions clear. Navigation aids: 2 magnetic compasses per aircraft. Radio direction finder. Standard dead reckoning equipment. Sea conditions: calm. 2-foot swells. Water temperature 78 degrees. 14 men faced a situation that defied their training. Taylor's voice remained calm, but radio transcripts reveal growing confusion. "We can't find west. Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." Student pilots requested permission to turn control over to another aircraft. Taylor refused, maintaining command until the final transmission faded into static. The Navy launched the largest peacetime search operation in history. Over 300 aircraft, 18 ships, and the Coast Guard scoured 380,000 square miles of ocean. Search operations continued for 5 days, covering every possible flight path and drift pattern. A Martin Mariner flying boat with 13 crew members vanished during the search, bringing total casualties to 27. The official Navy report blamed pilot error and equipment failure. Taylor had become disoriented, led the flight off course, and ran out of fuel over the Atlantic. The aircraft crashed in deep water beyond recovery depth. Cause of loss: navigation error compounded by compass malfunction. The case was classified as pilot error and filed away. Families received standard casualty notifications. Memorial services were held at NAS Fort Lauderdale. The incident became part of Navy training curriculum as an example of how navigation errors could prove fatal. For 79 years, the official explanation stood unchallenged, but radio transcripts revealed problems with the official story. Taylor reported both compasses malfunctioning simultaneously, a mechanical impossibility. Weather reports showed clear conditions throughout the flight, contradicting claims of disorientation. Most significantly, other aircraft in the area reported normal compass readings, suggesting localized magnetic anomalies. Some investigators proposed electromagnetic interference from unknown sources. The Bahamas region showed unusual magnetic variations that could affect navigation equipment. Others suggested Taylor had become confused about his location, believing he was over the Florida Keys when actually over the Bahamas. The compass malfunction theory gained support from similar incidents in the area. If the aircraft crashed in deep water, why were no oil slicks found? How could 5 separate compass systems fail simultaneously? Why did radio transmissions continue for nearly 2 hours after the reported fuel exhaustion time? The evidence didn't support the official conclusions. In 2023, Ocean Infinity deployed autonomous underwater vehicles equipped with synthetic aperture sonar and 4K cameras. These machines could scan vast areas of seafloor with millimeter precision, operating at depths exceeding 1,000 feet. The technology could detect aircraft-sized objects buried under decades of sediment accumulation. The search focused on coordinates derived from radio triangulation data that had been classified for decades. A UVs methodically scanned a 50-square-mile grid pattern. On day 12, sonar detected 5 large metallic objects arranged in formation. ROV deployment confirmed what searchers had been looking for since 1945. Flight 19. The underwater cameras revealed aircraft in impossible condition. No impact damage, no structural failure. Landing gear retracted as if still in flight. Most disturbing, cockpit instruments were illuminated, displaying readings that suggested the electrical systems remained active after 79 years underwater. Navigation equipment showed compass headings that defied magnetic field measurements. When researchers analyzed the footage, a pattern emerged that challenged known physics. The aircraft showed no signs of water damage, despite 8 decades of submersion. Organic materials remained intact. Metal surfaces showed no corrosion. The formation positioning suggested controlled descent rather than emergency crash landing. Navy records, declassified in 2019, revealed that magnetic anomalies in the Bahamas region were known but not reported to flight crews. Navigation charts used by Flight 19 were outdated, missing recent magnetic variation updates. The decision to continue the mission despite known compass problems was made at command level. If current magnetic data had been provided to flight crews, Taylor would have recognized his actual position. If backup navigation procedures had been implemented, the flight could have returned safely. If search operations had focused on the correct coordinates from radio triangulation, the aircraft might have been found in 1945. For surviving relatives, the discovery brought mixed emotions. Betty Taylor, Lieutenant Taylor's niece, expressed relief at finally knowing her uncle's location. "We always wondered if he suffered. Seeing the aircraft intact suggests it was quick." Other families questioned why the search had taken 79 years when the technology existed decades earlier. Navy records were amended to remove pilot error designation. The incident was reclassified as equipment failure due to magnetic anomaly. Memorial plaques at NAS Fort Lauderdale were updated to reflect the actual cause of loss. The Bermuda Triangle gained new credibility as a legitimate navigation hazard. Questions remain about the aircraft's preservation state and the functioning electrical systems. Marine biologists cannot explain the absence of normal underwater deterioration. Electromagnetic specialists are studying the compass readings that continue to defy explanation. The discovery has opened new areas of research into magnetic anomalies and their effects on navigation equipment. Flight 19 rests 240 feet beneath the Atlantic, still in formation after 79 years. The 5 Avengers that vanished on a routine training mission have become a testament to the ocean's ability to preserve mysteries. 14 men who trusted their instruments and their training were betrayed by forces beyond their understanding. Their discovery reminds us that some questions take decades to answer, and some answers raise questions we never thought to ask.